Okay, so I just got finished watching WWE Hell in a Cell, and the pay-per-view itself was actually pretty solid. It was better than I expected. On paper, this should not have been as good as a pay-per-view as it was. The triple threat for the U.S. title was great. I'm happy that Baron Corbin is champion. I know it's not a very popular opinion, but I think this dude could be a top heel behind Kevin Owens, obviously. The tag team Hell in a Cell, easily a match of the year candidate. Charlotte versus Natty was like okay, kind of a shitty finish. The main event Hell in a Cell was great. The Sami Zayn heel turn, I saw it coming, but the way they did it was beautiful. Rusev versus Orton happened. However, this video is going to be discussing Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Whew, I don't know what WWE is doing, man. This was so easy. This was so easy. They brought up Nakamura in a really good way. They had him feud with Dolph Ziggler, and that was okay. And then they started building him. They had his feud with Corbin. That was fine. And then they started building him as a top contender. This man beat John Cena clean as a whistle. Cena, who everyone always says buries people. When John Cena is willing to put over someone like Shinsuke Nakamura, that means that they have faith that this guy can be a top star. But what is the one thing that Vince listens to more than John Cena's opinion? The dollar. Or in this case, the rupee, because that's India's currency. The reason Jinder Mahal is champion is to promote the network in India. That's plain and simple. That's not an unknown fact. Everyone knows this. That's been the case since day one. And everyone thought, okay, they're going to have Jinder be champion for a couple of months, and then he's going to lose the title. He's held the title longer than anyone has between AJ Styles, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, a bunch of other people. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this was so easy. They had the easiest formula. They've done it before. They've done it with Kevin Owens. They've done it with AJ Styles. AJ Styles is the perfect example here. AJ Styles, Mr. TNA, not in a weird way, comes in, Royal Rumble. He doesn't win the Rumble, but he has a good showing. And people are like, oh shit, AJ Styles has arrived. Then you give him a really decent feud with Y2J. But then Jericho wins at Mania, and everyone's like, well shit, there goes AJ's momentum. But then they build him as a credible champion. He has either two or three really solid matches with Roman Reigns at, I think it was Extreme Rules, and I don't remember what the other one was. But he has two really solid matches. Then you have him have his feud with John Cena for a bit when he reforms the club. Then he wins the WWE Championship. But they didn't do it too fast. And same thing with Kevin Owens. He comes in, he destroys Sami Zayn, and he's NXT champion. Then you bring him to the main roster. You have him beat John Cena clean. Sure, he loses 2 more times, but then you start building him again. And people are saying the reason why Nakamura isn't champion right now is, well, a friend told me this, is because he's not a Vince creation, and Vince isn't okay with that. But we've seen in the past with guys like AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Neville, Kevin Owens, Vince is okay with putting guys over that weren't his own creation. So for whatever reason, he won't put Nakamura over. And I don't know where Nakamura goes from here. I really don't. I guess they could have him feud again with Corbin for the U.S. title, but that just doesn't seem necessary. Like, Nakamura should be the top star on SmackDown. Him and AJ Styles and Kevin Owens should be the top 3 guys. Like, I don't hate Jinder Mahal. I really don't. I hate Jinder Mahal for the same reason that I hate Roman Reigns. I hate them for the fact that they're being pushed way too hard for no good reason. That's nothing against... Well, no, actually, no, that is against Jinder. I don't think Jinder's a good wrestler. I really don't. But same thing with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns can actually go in the ring. But is he as good as some of the guys that are lower than him on the card? Absolutely not. He's not as good as someone like Sami Zayn or Dolph Ziggler. And I know that's weird because Ziggler's like, okay, but like he's better than Reigns. Ziggler's a workhorse in the ring. Guys like... There's a whole list. I can't even think of half the guys right now that are in a spot. Guys like Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze was huge in NXT. He was so over with that whole friggin' selfie gimmick. It was ridiculous. And the way they should have built this was have Nakamura. I know the reason why Jinder's still champion is because WWE's doing their tour of India whenever they're doing it. I don't know. I've never actually kept track of what it is. Have Jinder lose the title to Nakamura at Hell in a Cell, and hell, have him win it back in India. I don't give a shit if he wins it back in India, but give Nakamura that moment, and then have Jinder win it back in India. They did the same thing with the NXT title. Samoa Joe beat Nakamura at TakeOver Toronto for the title. I was there live. I did not see it coming. I thought for sure Nakamura was going over, and then they went to Japan the next week, and Nakamura won the title back. They've done it where Nakamura wins the title in his home country. So, the funny thing is that Jinder's not from India. He's just of Indian descent. He's actually from Calgary. But have Jinder lose the title to Nakamura and have him win it back at on the Indian tour, whatever. But now you've just killed any momentum that Nakamura had. The fact that he could beat AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, and can't beat Jinder Mahal. What kind of credibility does Nakamura have now? He has none. The way I would have built this is personally, if I was part of creative, is the way I would have built this is have Nakamura beat Jinder, have Jinder win it back in India, and then have Nakamura win it back at the Royal Rumble. And then do that. Have AJ Styles win the Royal Rumble, and then you have the biggest match ever. You have Nakamura versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34. That's not only going to bring in the casual fans, because they're like, yo, Nakamura, he's great. Oh, AJ Styles, he's great. That's going to bring in hardcore fans. It's going to bring in New Japan fans. It's going to bring in ROH fans. You're going to bring in every fucking fan base there is. Even TNA fans will watch it because they know AJ Styles. AJ Styles carried TNA for 12 years. But instead, you're thinking about what one country's going to do. The thing is that Jinder's not huge in India. He's really not. Guys like Roman Reigns and John Cena and AJ Styles are really big in India because they're the hero type. Like, if Jinder was really bringing in as much revenue as they think he's bringing in, why does he only have 2 shirts on WWE Shop? Guys like Nakamura, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, John Cena, Roman Reigns, they got t-shirts coming out their ass, and Jinder has 2. Jinder's not bringing in the money that they think he is, and I don't think he's going to bring in any more money than they think he's going to bring in. It's ridiculous, and you cannot have Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the best in-ring workers wrestling today, be an NXT flop. Guys like Tyler Breeze and Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, fine. I can understand why they didn't get over, because their gimmicks work better in a smaller indie style arena. But Shinsuke is so over. Did you hear the crowd reaction when he came out last night? The crowd was singing his song and they were cheering for him, and then Jinder came out and the entire arena went dead. Because no one cares. The only reason he got cheered in Toronto was just because he's Canadian. If he wasn't Canadian, the crowd would have been just as dead. I was there for SmackDown Live when he came to Toronto. And yeah, I cheered Jinder, but that's only because he's from freaking Canada. We don't have many wrestlers that are from Canada, so we have to cheer for him. But it's just, I just don't understand what they're doing here. I honestly cannot think of a logical way that they can bring Nakamura back to the main event picture. Like, he's not going to win the Rumble. They're not going to have him win the Rumble. They shouldn't do Nakamura versus Corbin again, but they're gonna, obviously. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I really don't. It doesn't make sense. Like, it makes sense because Vince is money hungry and he wants to promote the network in India. But subscriptions aren't any higher than they were when Jinder wasn't champion. And I think it's because India knows that he's not actually from India. They know he's he's Indian descent, but he's not from here, even though he's built from there. Wrestling fans aren't as stupid as they think we are. Like, we know shit. We know that Undertaker isn't from Death Valley. I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about this. I'm not going to get mad because I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.